And environmental awareness is having an understanding about the environment. Mainly, you are taking this class because you know and you understand the environment very well, the impacts of human behaviors on it, and the importance of its protection. It is creating general awareness of environmental issues and their causes by bringing about changes in perception, attitude, values, skills necessary to solve the environmental related problems. And advanced industrial development in European and North America brought to the force problems of overconsumption, enormous amount of garbage, acid rains, pollutant effects on survival of living species. And doubling of living standards in rich countries would increase the consumption of world resources 6 times as much as doubling of population in poor countries. An international scale, economics has endangered not only worldwide interdependence but increased the threat of a global confrontation between rich and poor countries. And we are studying about environmental awareness. So, what are the observations we have taken from the world, the global, the universe, and the country and the state? Now we will observe. We will know the observations in different nations, how they polluted the environment in many aspects. And once I want to tell you that environmental stress may or may not touch people's lives in ways of which they are conscious and about which they can protest, but they always touch the sum total of living things, the biosphere. Environmental issues have been steadily occupying the international policy agenda for the past 7 years. Many present efforts to guard and maintain human progress, to meet human needs, and to realize human ambitions are simply unsustainable in both the rich and poor nations. So, what can we do now? How can we protect the environment? How can uh, we satisfy with our needs? And how can modern technology helping to develop our nations without environmental pollution? So, humanity has the ability to make the development sustainable to ensure that it meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So, when we have the knowledge of environmental awareness, then we know how to protect our environment and how we develop using the modern techniques. And now we will observe the different nations about the pollution rates and how the pollution affect the environment. What type of pollutions affect our Mother Earth? And every year, 6 million hectares of productivity dry land turns into worthless desert. And it is a result of combination of factories such as deforestation, soil erosions, modern agricultural practices, and industrialization, and man's own empathy. In Africa, killing of nearly a million and putting 35 million at risk. And also in China, mainly coal-based energy, which is low in quantity and high in sulfur. Thus, China joined the big four in the world, which contribute the greenhouse gases mainly due to burning coal. Other are United States, Soviet Union, and Brazil. And also the main problem most people in Hong Kong faced are air and noise pollutions. Traffic noise is sometimes it is also affected, and floating refuges in an endemic problems at beaches. And air pollution is a major health hazard on Taiwan, heavily populated and industrial west coast. Taiwan's Environmental Protection Administration, half the population of 20 million are drinking water from heavily polluted sources. The most populated area in Taiwan in the Linyan petrochemical zone, nearly Kaohsiung. Taiwan produces 30 million tons of waste annually. See how it is affected. And also in the air pollution, Yochan, soil, onsan, and many other industrial cities in South Korea. And South Korea's coastal water have been polluted by lead, mercury, cadmium, and other toxic wastes, endangering the food chain and consequently human population. See, in the past olden years, we respect our nature and Panchabhutas, and we think that they are the gods, and we respect every Panchabhuta, and also in trees, and we see the god in trees and the water and all. But now we are doing this type of behavior, and it will affect us only. In South Korea, Bangladesh and Myanmar face different kinds of problems. Bangladesh is under persistent threat of floods and cyclones. Here, the two, Myanmar and Bangladesh, here the different problems are there. In the Bangladesh, floods and cyclones, and in the Myanmar, coastal and have been continuously deforested. Mangrove forests are there in Myanmar. So the coastal line have been continuously deforested, and the coastal line is barren open to pressure of ocean waves. In the European country, which is the most industrial advanced part of the world, here 2,200 million tons of garbage they dump every year. See how it is. Disposable of wastes within Europe is more severe. In Europe, acid rains kill forests and lakes, and acid precipitations may have mystifying vast tracts of soil beyond hope of the repair. And in United States, nearly 60% of the hazardous waste are generated by the chemical industry and allied operations. And also it affects the health of the persons who are working there. After the Environmental Protection Agency issued new regulations requiring companies generating toxic chemicals and industrial wastes to take responsibility for the proper disposal, a large number of US industry started looking overseas for dumping sites. In the controversial report, the Natural Resource Defense Council had predicted that some 6,000 American pre-scholars might eventually get cancer from chemical residues of US producers. And also here, mining is as the first stage of industrial process has been another important aspect of industrial pollution. In this, not only this industrial pollution, but also industrial accidents also occur. And you know very well about the Bhopal tragedy, and also Union Carbide plant, West Virginia, resulted the emergency evaluation of residents and some health problems. And in the Bhopal tragedy, 3,000 people had injured and 200,000 more in 1984. So these man-made things affect the environment, and we must protect that. The accidental release of highly toxic chemicals affect badly to our health and also our environment. And also, you know very well about Minamata tragedy in Japan. That is nothing but mercury pollution. When the sea is polluted with mercury, the fisherman fisherman the fishes affected by that one, and also thousands of Iraqis died because of Minamata disease. And now air pollution, water pollution. Besides that, So nowadays it is very big problem, environmental problem, that is sea pollution. The recent Gulf War has highlighted another environmental problem of massive propagations, sea pollution due to oil spills. Deliberating leakages of oil into the ocean by Iraq during the war, which affected large number of species in the largest ever spill. An estimation of 28 million gallons of oil was ocean spilled within the first 10 months of the year 1990. Most of the spills are caused by human error, pipelines bombed by galleries or storage tanks struck by lightning. So these are the human errors which leads to entire environment and the livestock. So what can we do now? Um, Observing these all situations of the globe, observe these all situations globally. So some debates are occur. That is sustainable use, the conservation of resources. How can we sustain and using these resources, and also how can we give these resources to our generations? How can we prevent this environmental pollution? How can we preservation these natural resources to our generations, and how can we control population growth? These are the major problems discussed globally. Besides that, acid rain, deforestation, global warming, ozone layer depletion, pollution of air, water, and soil, radioactive contamination of large areas, species extinction are some of the most urgent environmental threats. You know about very well, so many animals are endangered people and endangered species, and they are in red data book. We can't see. In our childhood, we saw some animals, but now we can't. Because of the pollution, they can't survive in the earth. And what about India? Now we discussed about Europe and South Asia and Korea, South Korea and China, United States, and how they are affecting, how the developing countries affecting developed countries over consumption of natural resources, and how they became a reason for environmental pollution. And what about India, our our motherland? Situation in India, how the reasons of environmental pollution in India. Deforestation leads to soil erosion and water pollution, air pollution, urbanization. We will observe now how these all are affect. In India, deforestation in the Himalayan result in soil erosion, directly affecting the people of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh. The Yamuna, the biggest tributary of Ganga, flows are loaded with domestic and industrial sewage collected from Yamuna Sagar. In 1986, under an ambitious rupees 250 crore Ganga action plan, the entire stretch of the river flowing through Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal was to be cleaned in phases. Ganga action plan, is it success? Think about that, and next class we will discuss about that. Atmospheric pollution has already defeated the marble of Taj Mahal. You know very well about that. The color of the marble will change to light yellow color because of the pollution. And also this refinery was constructed over the protests of environmental. Oil refinery is there in Mathura. And Rajasthan government has intended plan to construct a thermal power station on the border area near to Agra. Uh, some of the oil machineries and also the pollution, traffic leads to Taj Mahal. And also a major controversy about the Tehri Dam project in Gaharwal, Himalaya regarding the choice of location and project feasibility. Actually, the planning stages in the 1970s, the project has drawn adverse comments from ecologists. And also in Rajasthan, the mining operations have been the biggest threat. Even reserve forests and wildlife sanctuaries have become sustainable to such exploitation, contrary to specific laws governing these areas. Status of the world famous Sariska Tiger Sanctuary is found to be no different. Due to the abundance of mineral deposits in the Chota Nagpur Plateau and south or central Bihar were two steel plants, it leads to environmental pollution. And also, you know very well about Damodar Valley project. And an estimation 80,000 tons of ash from the Chandrapura thermal power station of the Damodar Valley Corporation flows into the river Damodar. See how, think about this, how it will be. How can it, how can we survive this one? In Maharashtra also, molasses produced by more than 100 cooperative sugar factories has containing most drinking water sources. It is dumped in pits wherever possible. Krishna Basin has been affected extensively due to this pollutant. And you know very well about the Darjeeling, the holiday spot. It is also, because of the mining operations, completely denuding the area completely of any vegetation. And the greatest threat of environmental in northeastern region is the whole of deforestation, mechanized open cast mining, coal India and oil have, and also untreated effluents of Hindustan Paper Corporation have destroyed water bodies and agricultural land. See how this is, how badly they are doing in all factories and in all factories or oil missionaries or any other paper corporations, they are all dumping the wastes in the rivers. We are changing not only modernly, but also we are degrading. Means in past days, we are respecting the rivers like goddess, but now we are dumping the wastes in that and we don't have even drinking water to our future generations, I think. All contaminated. At present, there is no fish in this lake, which once used to supply the same for the entire area. In Orissa also, air pollution mainly due to fly ash and water pollution from the two thermal units. And environment in Goa is destabilized by iron ore mining and throwaway culture brought by by tourism. Still, when we are going to see other new places or we want to spend some time in the places, we went to the tourist spots and afterwards we will throw that garbage and all things there only. It will pollute the environment. Minimum conscious required for us. Education means to know well about the environment, to observe the environment, and we protect our environment. And also I want to tell about Periyar, the largest second river of Kerala, that is considered as the five line of the state, has lost much of its importance because of the various factors such as environmental degradation, pollution, and sanity. About 25% of the industrial units in the state are located along a 1 kilometer stretch of the Periyar bank of Udyogamandal. How it is this? And also the river Kaveri is polluted by effluents of different industrial units located along its courses, both in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And Puducherry is facing environmental pollution problems with the spread of urbanization. And also tourist influx had its own negative effect on the marine ecosystem, particularly the coral reefs. Just we want to go and enjoy there and we will come back. What we are doing is we will pollute the environment, and also we will pollute the environment. So the flora and fauna what are situated in there, they are degrading. And many cities faced problems such as deteriorating infrastructure, environmental degradation, inner city decay, and neighborhood collapse. And urbanization also leads to environmental pollution. 60% of Kolkata population suffer from pneumonia, bronchitis, and other respiratory diseases related to pollution. And also industrial effluents of a factory near Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu affected the neighboring villages like Golanapur and others. A growing number of the urban poor suffer from a high incidence of diseases, acute respiratory diseases, tuberculosis, intestinal parasites, and diseases linked to poor sanitation and contaminated drinking water. So here, the poor people will affected so much, and because of the poor sanitation conditions. And what about our states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh? How they are? Is there any environmental pollution, severe environmental pollution or not? It is not exception in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also. They have so much of water pollution, air pollution, and so many industrial areas are there in Hyderabad. So many toxic chemicals from local mining industries seriously polluted the surrounding areas. And also garbage dump in Krishna River, Godavari River polluted by sewage from towns situated along their banks. Intensive location of cement industries, Nalgonda district and Vijayawada has spread pollutant particles across the surrounding areas. And also, you know very well about Nalgonda district. So much water pollution, soil pollution is there. So many are affected related to these bone diseases, rickets, and also deficiency of calcium and necrosis. Small children are there, but they are also affected about that. And also thermal power plants produce a lot of fly ash and pollute the areas around Vijayawada and Ramagundam. Ash problem is also severe in areas wherever sugar factories have been established, like Zahirabad, like this. And Vishakhapatnam is considered as one of the Asia's fast growing industrial cities. The city is surrounded by hills on three sides and ocean on the other side. How beautiful it is. But in houses several major industries including oil refinery, fertilizer units, zinc smelter, petrochemical industries, cement factories. These are all increasing environmental pollution. Waste, liquid, and gaseous materials of industrial processes have made the lives of residents miserable. Asthma, bronchitis, and lung related problems are rampant. See, here they are all suffering from these diseases. But what are the precautions we must take in? What is the emergency policies we implemented there? And also very major drinking water sources of the city, Meghadrigadda reservoir is very near to these polluting sources. So, it is the water also polluted. And now we are coming our city, Hyderabad. It is one of the fastest growing city. Its population estimated 2.2 millions in 1981 and 6 millions in 1992. We are thinking about India is unity and diversity, isn't it? So in Hyderabad also we think we saw that type of the culture, because so many religions and so many cultures people, they are all together living here. And modern industrial development in Hyderabad started with the establishment of Bharat Heavy Electric Limited, Ramachandrapuram, in early 70s only. And nuclear fuel complex, Mishra Dhatu Nigam and Hindustan Aeronautics were established. All these industries belong to the public sector, IDPL, and also in Kukadpalli, in Patancheru, Bolaram. These all are Jidimetla, these are all our industrial areas. Unfortunately, were established on the wrong side of the city of Hyderabad, on the upstream towards the west. This wrong sitting lies as the source of environmental degradation problem of Hyderabad. And also most, you know about very well about Moosi. In the past, Moosi River, it will give water to many villages in the city, but now we can't touch the water. Any living, any fishes or any aquatic living beings, they can't survive in that water because we polluted that much of, we dump that much of wastage in the Moosi. So now, how can we eradicate this one and how can we protect our environment? Environment policies are important for facing the ecological challenge. Local, national, and international measures must be formulated and implemented. It is very important that the Stockholm Conference in 1972 is considered as the first step towards facing this challenge. In that, they discussed about the environmental protection and at the international cooperation level. This United Nations Conference on the Human Environment extended international consideration of the social, political, and economic factors that influence man-environment relationships. So I want to tell one thing about here, that developed countries blamed developing countries because of poor uh, poverty and population. And developing countries blames developed countries because of overconsumption of resources, but both are doing the same. Here both are, they very well about the environmental endangering how their works, their related works affect the environment, and they have the consciousness about little bit of consciousness important here, little bit, because that little bit conscious also help the environmental protection, little thinking about that. And management of the various common, the oceans, outer space of Antarctica is at different stages of evaluation. The Convention of the Prevention of Marine Pollution by Dumping of Waste and Other Matter, which has a worldwide application, was concluded in November 1972 and entered into force on 30 August 1975. In 1985, the London Dumping Convention extended indefinite moratorium on the dumping of low-level radioactive wastes. And Convention on the Prevention of Marine Pollution by Dumping of Waste and Other Matter, London, 29th December 1972. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, Washington, D.C., 3rd March 1973. Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, Canberra, Australia, 20th May 1980. Vienna Convention of the Protection of the Ozone Layer, 1985. Montreal Protocol on Sustainable that Deplete the Ozone Layer, 1987. Convention of Control of Transborder Movements of Hazardous Waste and Their Disposal. The United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea was the most ambitious attempt ever to provide an internationally agreed regime for the management of the oceans. Now we learn about this all what is environment and what about environmental awareness, why we have the conscious about environment, and how the balanced views of diverse issues in the globally and nationally and statewide. And in our next class, we will learn about how the voluntary organizations and other organizations, how they are going forward, and how they are protecting the environment, and what are the acts, government acts, we will discuss later. Thank you.